Welcome. Welcome to the university's 47th annual Fall Convocation. This is a day that we come together to celebrate accomplishments of our colleagues and our friends. It's an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of faculty and staff. And another significant highlight of this program is the honoring of UNF's 41st Distinguished Professor, Dr. Adel ElSafty, School of Engineering and College of Computing, Engineering, and Construction. I now have the extreme pleasure of inviting President Szymanski, the new president of the University of North Florida, to provide a few remarks to open this occasion.
I'd also like to congratulate today's award winners, especially our new Distinguished Professor of the Year, Dr. Adel ElSafty. This is the highest honor we confer upon a university faculty member, and Dr. ElSafty is very deserving. He is a dedicated teacher and international scholar. He's really phenomenal, and we're so fortunate to have him call UNF home.
Now I would like to begin the introduction of this year's Distinguished Professor, Dr. Adel ElSafty, from the School of Engineering. For many years, the distinguished professor from the previous year would read the biography of the new recipient. It's always a long list of degrees, awards, conference presentations, publications, and the like. The biography of Dr. Adel ElSafty is printed in your program, and as you can see, he is very impressive. But that's only part of the story. What the printed biography doesn't tell you is the impact that Dr. ElSafty has had on students. To tell you that part of the story, we've invited a former student and now civil engineering technology instructor, Jeanette White, to share with us how Dr. ElSafty has transformed her and molded her into the professional she is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Jeanette White.
Thank you. Well, good morning. How are y'all? Good. I thank you all for this great opportunity on this day. Thinking back, we can all think about those very important people who played vital roles in our life. These people have helped us become the person and the professional that we are today. Dr. Adel ElSafty is one of those very important people of my life. Prior to arriving at UNF, I came to know Dr. ElSafty when I was his student at the University of Central Florida. At that time, my focus was on becoming an aerospace engineer. I wanted to work for NASA. I had my childhood dreams in my mind. Yet, as the first semester progressed, I found myself struggling. I was not grasping the fundamental concepts. So when Dr. ElSafty's office hours rolled around, I was like a permanent fixture in his office. So, as faculty, we can all surely envision that constant, never-go-away student. Well, I was that student. I felt like I was always needed to ask questions, yet never, not one single time, did he ever make me feel like the unwelcome guest in his office. I was always greeted with respect, encouragement, and guidance. Even on the occasion when my group brought him our spaghetti bridge project, it was a tangled mess, yet he did not snicker one bit. We had spaghetti supports going this way and that way, and all of us students were so proud. But even on that day, he just smiled and provided us engineering guidance. So as the few semesters passed at UCF, and although I was employed by Florida Space Institute, I realized aerospace was not what I wanted to pursue. I realized I was now leaning more towards civil engineering. With these thoughts in mind, I found myself occasionally dropping by Dr. ElSafty's office. We would talk about civil engineering and his career as a civil engineer. Within a few short conversations, I was absolutely hooked. So soon thereafter, I found myself moving back to Jacksonville and to UNF's civil engineering program. From that point forward, I never once looked back, except to absolutely recommend Dr. ElSafty for the open position here at UNF. To me, he is the best professor ever. So, now, as I am a professionally licensed civil engineer and lead instructor over civil engineering technologies and geomatics technologies, I strive to emulate the ways of Dr. ElSafty, the ways in which I so positively remember. Each day I try to be kind and caring, yet to hold the bar high for all my students. I try to remember when I, too, was that pesky old student who just wouldn't leave the office. As students and instructors, professors, we all must realize that as we step in front of our students, our words have power. In our words, they are our power. And in this profession, we have the absolute ability to change lives for the better. We have the power to inspire, the power to drive others to dig deep, and to have them accomplish more than they ever thought they could. Dr. ElSafty has changed my life. To this day, he inspires me to work hard and do more for my profession. In this way, he has showed me not to cringe as the upteenth student walks into my office, yet to smile and remember I was once one of them. As I reflect, to be open and caring, to not find time later to help, yet to find the time now, just as he did for us. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, faculty and staff, Mr. President, it is my great honor to welcome UNF's 41st Distinguished Professor of the Year from the School of Engineering, my friend and mentor, Dr. Adel ElSafty.
Thank you, Jeanette, so much for this wonderful introduction. President Szymanski, Provost Chali, Dr. Fenner, faculty, staff, students, family, friends, and members of the UNF community. Thank you all. I'm honored and humbled to be recognized as UNF's Distinguished Professor. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Fayumi on his Distinguished Professor Runner-Up Award and his great accomplishments. I've been fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by such a great group of UNF faculty, staff, administrators, students, and alumni. I'm grateful to all of you for helping me to reach this point, which means a great deal to me. Thank you. All of you know it took me several years to be able to stand here and have the honor and pleasure to address you. I was selected twice as a Distinguished Professor Runner-Up in 2016 and 2017. That is typical to almost everything I try to accomplish in my life. Persistent trials with much struggle to achieve a goal, several setbacks, many failures, then maybe a success. I remember over 30 years ago, I kept trying for years to pursue my PhD in Europe or North America after finishing my master's degree. My mom and dad comforted and embraced me while I kept receiving many rejection letters, admission letters without enough scholarships, more rejections, and finally a success. Then when I was traveling in 1989 to pursue my PhD in North Carolina, my parents struggled to hide their tears in their eyes at Cairo airport, saying goodbye. My dad was a civil engineer building bridges, tunnels, and dams. He got his civil engineering education at Cairo University in Egypt, and his professional education and training was in France and Sweden in 1950s and 1960s. Given his life experiences, he encouraged me to travel, knowing the importance of international exposure. My mom studied at the law school at Cairo University in the 1950s made her very analytical and logical in making decisions and giving sound advice. I love and miss my parents so much. They foster persistence and dedication to pursuing our dream no matter how long it takes or how hard it is. I learned from my parents persistent support for my sister while raising her 2 sons to successfully pursue her medical MD degree at Cairo University, her master's and PhD, and admirably fulfill her demanding job as the chair of the Department of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. I learned through my parents' support for my brother to successfully earn his engineering degree and establish a very successful engineering firm in Egypt. Our parents have been an inspiration to us, and their example continues even after they passed away. Their spirit of persistence resides in me, for I'm trying to emulate them by supporting and encouraging our UNF students and our children. Maryam, a junior at the University of Florida, UF, pursuing her pre-med degree, Summer, 11th grader at Bowles, and Adam, a 5th grader. I see this support and encouragement to persist past failures as a central theme in my life and an important goal for us as teachers to pursue. I always urge my children and students to try, fail, process, reflect, accumulate knowledge, learn from failures, try again, fail again, try and then succeed. It's fine to have failures, but with persistence, one will eventually reach success. I tell my students that failure is part of learning and most likely will be the key to success. I learned that very well from engineering projects and even from the construction of the ancient Egyptian pyramids. I've learned that throughout history, we have experienced unfortunate structural failures, including bridge collapses. Yet these failures prompt us to gather invaluable information, learn critical lessons from failures, deepen our knowledge, sharpen our skills, and enhance our future design, construction, maintenance, repair, and monitoring. The failures we experience provide essential lessons to achieve success. But persistence through initial failure is not the only important virtue. Community is important as well. I naively thought that engineering, science, and technology alone were sufficient to advance our lives. I had the honor to lead a faculty group on international academic visits to Turkey, Morocco, and Egypt to establish and maintain research initiatives and exchange programs. And I thought I was the expert who knew it all, till I learned how limited my knowledge was and still is. When touring the pyramids in Giza, the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, and historic places in Egypt, Turkey, and Morocco, my knowledge was only focused on the engineering aspects. However, it was amazing to learn from my UNF colleagues about the culture, the society, the history of the ancient Egyptian civilization, the cultures of Greece, Rome, Persia, China, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and the Aztecs. Thanks to my colleagues, my lack of knowledge turned into a rich learning experience. I also have led and co-led student groups on a study abroad and international TLO service projects to Ghana, Morocco, and Germany. And honestly, I learned a great deal from my colleagues and students during this travel. Our interaction helped me develop cross-cultural awareness and learn to use experiential learning. A few years ago, I was a guest lecturer in Cologne, Germany, and I had to present very dry topics. After several rehearsals, I was able to improve my presentations through integrating practical examples from my industrial experience and embedding video clips of my testing, my lab testing. The students and faculty got very engaged and interacted positively. And after the lecture, they were knocking on the desks with their hands and knuckles. Before I got word, my dear German colleague reassured me enthusiastically with a big smile that this knocking is a kind of applause expressing appreciation. I was relieved. I was encouraged to interact more and exchange a great deal of information with the German audience that broadened my horizons and deepened my knowledge. Later, I conducted a successful study abroad with UNF students to learn the history and structural engineering in Germany. I also initiated collaboration in Japan and Italy to establish joint research and exchange programs. And my students and I learned from a remarkable architect many lessons on the history, culture, and preservation of historic structures in Italy. Talking and traveling with knowledgeable faculty taught me about the history of nations, and that the history is marked by great events and the accomplishments of remarkable individuals whose impact is significant, not just in construction, but in science, culture, economics, and technology. I learned that a vibrant community of learners from multiple backgrounds and perspectives is the best way to advance knowledge, and the best way to have a positive impact on our UNF students and to advance their careers. One of the areas of my academic expertise is pre-stressed concrete that you see in bridges and buildings. When I started teaching pre-stressed concrete, I failed to connect with my students. Then I was fortunate to partner with industrial firms and the Pre-Stressed Concrete Institute Foundation. With their help and my persistence, I succeeded in improving my lectures, and the students start being excited and having a good learning experience about today's great success in design, fabrication, and constructions of millions of landmark structures using precast and pre-stressed concrete. They enjoyed learning about the history and evolution of pre-stressed concrete that resulted in a boom in reconstructing bridges in Europe that were destroyed during World War II. With persistence and learning from my failures, along with the support of my community of scholars and industry professionals, I was fortunate to lead UNF student teams to win regional and national competitions, collaborate and lead faculty research teams from 8 universities, secure about $2.5 million project funds, including a national grant to establish the first PCI engineering design studio in the US, and publish a textbook and 90 journals and conference papers. I was blessed to receive a national award by the PCI, the Educator of the Year Award, and awards of Fulbright Scholar and Fulbright Specialist. But my experience is not unique. Although I'm the one being recognized today, there are many of you who are doing amazing work. As we speak, almost 17,000 UNF students are being inspired by the teaching of our knowledgeable and dedicated faculty. Do you know what I think is unique about UNF? It's our passionate professors who spark enthusiasm, create a culture of active learning, light the fire of curiosity, foster students' critical thinking and creativity, engage in our community, and not only engage with our students, but invest in their overall well-being. My daughters, Mariam and Summer, used to ask me when they were young, "Dad, what do you really do or accomplish?" They basically questioned the impact of professors. I kept telling them that thousands of lives are being saved every hour as a result of rigorous academic research and teaching that contribute to advances in medical science and innovations in engineering. My answer did not convince them enough. Till my daughter started pursuing her pre-med studies at UF, volunteering at Chance and Mayo Clinic, she started realizing that indeed thousands of patients are being cured with new medicines and innovative discoveries. To convince my children more, especially Adam, I shared with them the news of adaptive toys that help children with physical disabilities by combined efforts and innovations of physical therapy and engineering at UNF. I explained to my children that we proudly work in an inspirational community where we take on big challenges in our research and teaching. Thus, challenges do not become setbacks or roadblocks, but offer us opportunities to do remarkable work. I constantly share with my students and children how graduates from UNF and other institutions have contributed to designing, constructing, improving, and maintaining many resilient bridges, buildings, tunnels, roads, and new water, energy, and transportation systems to improve our lives. I am biased to engineering, so forgive me. Every day, a new invention or innovation emerges in engineering that enhance our overall well-being. I think my children were either convinced after my persistence in providing success stories, or they just got bored and gave up asking. But do you think I stopped? No. I told my children and students again, remember, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy 20 years ago, but Steve Jobs' clear vision, sound plan, creativity, and partnership with competitor Microsoft turned things around to make Apple now the most successful US company that tops a market valuation of $1 trillion. I added, Also, 10 years ago, Elon Musk's vision became a reality after years of many setbacks, 3 failures, hard work, and then 1 success that converted the 2 struggling companies of Tesla and SpaceX from being on the verge of bankruptcy to today's very successful companies. At the beginning of the new academic year, it's important to remember that it's our individual and collective effort as faculty, staff, administrators that create a unique and healthy learning environment. Today, we are fortunate to witness a great progress at UNF because of these efforts across all of our colleges. Our accomplishments have earned national and international acclaim. We challenge our students, embrace their failures, support and inspire them to pursue success. That combination of challenging our students to persist and supporting them as a community is a huge strength to UNF. Yet, with all of these successes, did we realize our full potential? Despite our dedicated efforts in providing a rich learning environment that has significantly improved students' progress and growth, the state metrics are not reflecting our dedication. My colleagues, now more than ever, our job is to acknowledge the challenges before us, learn from the failures behind us, and turn those failures into successes. We will leverage our resources, our competitive advantage, our skilled faculties, and our supportive industry to achieve giant leaps of progress and sustainable success. We will work collaboratively to provide a healthy environment and an enjoyable freshman experience, attract remarkable students, retain and motivate them, support and help them persist, graduate, and place them in a successful career. We will keep inspiring and engaging our students in hands-on experience and experiential learning. I believe that with a renewed focus on what we do best, challenging and supporting our students, the matrix, as well as our outstanding student learning, will eventually reflect our success. My colleagues, as we look toward the future, let's face our challenges and overcome our difficulties and limitations together. Let us continue transforming education to meet the rapidly changing world and emerging challenges. I suggest we build bridges of understanding, remove the barriers of misunderstandings, remove the barriers of misunderstanding, and pave the road for partnership. Let us work alongside each other in a grand, diverse community of learners who reach across boundaries, barriers, and differences, sharing our diverse experience and expertise, and build a successful future together. We will become stronger and more successful. We not only can, but we will transform challenges into success, and with that, we will realize our full potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our distinguished professor. There's no question that persistence and dedication are how we will succeed. So I invite all of us to join our distinguished professor on that journey. This has been an exciting and a celebratory day. It's a time of reflection and certainly a time of hope and enthusiasm for the future. Thank you for being here, for being a part of today's convocation. And at this time, I would like to ask that all of you stand and hold your place for the recessional.